we're gonna answer your questions. Some of you were asking what fox walking is and how to do that, and so I'll give you a little demonstration of that today. And yeah, so we'll start again. You can be inside or outside, doesn't matter. If you want to practice this, you can. You can just observe as well. Usually I have you looking away. You don't have to look at me, but today is a good idea to be able to look at me, at least for the beginning part of this. And so I'm going to start standing up. And actually what I'm going to do is first I'm going to have the focus on my feet, so you can actually see my feet. I think you can see my feet from there. So yeah, I'll just start right here. Okay. So if you want to do this yourself, if you want to kind of take on the practice, then go ahead and stand up and just let your feet fall comfortably on the ground or the earth or wherever you are. Again, you can just observe. Feel free just to sit and observe. And just to let you all know, I just wanted to let everybody know that this practice was taught to me by my teacher, John Young, who learned it from his teacher, Tom Brown, who learned it from his mentor, Stalking Wolf, who was an Apache scout. That being said, this is not something that is like just native, let's say. This is something, and I'll tell you why in just a second, that is very human. So I'm glad we have a kiddo here with us today. Kelly, what's your daughter's name? If you don't mind me asking.
Farah.
Sarah or Farah?
Farah.
Farah? Did I get it right? I'm sorry, Farah. Okay, hi Farah. So Farah, can you tell me if do you have brothers and sisters or just sisters? Like what, you have siblings, right?
Sister.
You have a sister? Okay.
I used to have a brother, but my brother died, so now I have a sister.
A sister. Okay. So is your sister younger than you or older than you?
She's old.
She's old. Okay. Do you ever play hide and seek with your sister?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you play hide and seek and you want to sneak away, how do you do that?
Oh, she always sneaks away in the tree.
In the tree? So if you were to, like with your feet, what do you do with your feet when you sneak away? If you want to be really quiet, how do you walk?
Well,
can you show us? If you're going to sneak right now, how do you walk? If you're going to sneak away right now, what would you do? Sneak away. Okay, that's one option. That's awesome. Oh, good. Thank you, Farah. So another option that most of you will probably know instinctively, that it's instinctive in our bodies, is to tiptoe, right? It's something that none of us had to be taught by anybody, but we all just knew it. When we were playing hide and seek or playing whatever game and you wanted to sneak away or hide from someone, you would tiptoe to be really quiet. So that's in essence what fox walking is, because you know, again, instinctively in your body, you know that to walk on your toes, it's quieter than walking heel ball toe, right? And so it's a beautiful thing because it's a very natural way of being. Again, like our bodies instinctively know to do this. No one ever had to teach us this. So let me just show you more specifically. There is sort of like a, what I want to say, like a science, you can say, behind fox walking. And so there, I'm in the screen. If I ever go out of the screen, you can't see something, just holler and let me know. So basically just feel your feet on the earth right now. Just nice and flat. And a big part of this is a great strengthening practice also, and a balance practice. So you just want to get nice and grounded and really feel your balance. If you are someone that maybe is a little unsteady, you can separate your feet a little bit more, maybe take a wider stance, but you can have whatever stance is natural or comfortable for you. And then what you're going to do with fox walking, it is in essence tiptoeing, but not exactly. So you're going to take this part of your foot, this part of your foot, like the ball or the toe sort of part of your foot, and that's going to go down first. But the beauty of this, and this is where the balance and the strengthening comes in, and why it was used by scouts, is that this is only a small little twig here, but imagine that this is like a big stick, right? And I'm in the forest and I'm trying to be quiet. And if I take my foot, and so if I take my like heel ball foot, right, heel ball toe, then when that goes down on this stick, it's going to break it or snap it and it will make a noise. But rather, if I'm walking fox walking style and I'm balanced right now on my left foot and I just put my toe down first, I can feel, I still have all my weight on my left foot. I can feel that there's a stick there. So I'm going to move my foot over here a little bit more. And then when I know it's like it's kind of safe to put my foot down, then I'm going to put my weight onto my toes and then the outer portion of my foot. So over here, the outer portion of my foot, I'm going to kind of roll to that and then my heel after that. So it's toe, outside, and then heel. It's sort of the opposite of what we're taught by our parents or in school. It's not heel, ball, toe. It's just the opposite. And so again, it's really wonderful because it helps you strengthen your legs first of all, but also just your gait and your ability to just move sort of effortlessly through the world. And so let's practice this first. So you can take a back up wherever you need to, and you don't need to see me for this part because now you sort of maybe get a little bit of it. So just and the trick is this is beautiful where owl eyes comes into play. So if you remember the owl eyes practice, and let's start that first. So everyone go ahead and here's a fun way to learn owl eyes. So I know we've been doing it, or soft vision, we've been doing it like throughout the last since I've been doing this, but we've been doing it in a seated position. So here's a fun way to learn it standing up. So go ahead and find a point off in the distance to look at. Although you're gonna look at me for just 1 second. So everyone knows how a turkey vulture flies, right? Flies like in a dihedral, so kind of like this in like a V, right? And they sort of teeter when they fly. So we're gonna be turkey vultures for just a minute. And we're gonna put our hands behind us like this, okay? Not up, but just behind us. And you're gonna start to wiggle your fingers. So now this is the point where you don't have to look at me and I'll tell you, well, you'll know when to put your fingers down and your hands down. So go ahead and find that point off in the distance. Let your hands go into turkey vulture form. And you're just really going to focus on that one point. And now with your hands kind of behind you where you can't see them, start to wiggle your fingers, still looking at that point in front of you. And now slowly start to bring your hands forward. Keep wiggling your fingers. And I want you to stop when you can see your fingers, just at the very edges of your vision, even though you're still looking forward. And then go ahead and drop your hands. And then just stay in owl eyes for a moment. Noticing everything that you can pick up. All that's in your peripheral vision, above and below. And you can notice how even though you're looking forward, you're looking off at that point in the distance, because you're using owl eyes, you can pretty much see what's on the ground. You may have to shift your vision down just slightly, but you don't have to look at your feet. And this is another beautiful thing about the combination of fox walking and owl eyes together, is that you don't have to actually look down. You can keep your eyes up and you can keep looking for birds or animals or whatever it is in the natural world. So let's try that. So go ahead and look forward in a way where you can see the ground just a little bit, right? And now, just as I said, right foot, left foot, whichever one you want to, put all your weight on one of your feet, the one you feel most stable on. And you can still put your other foot like lightly touching the ground next to it, but not, you want most of the weight to be shifted to your right or left foot. And then lift the opposite foot up, and then you're going to slowly put it down in front of you, but touch first with your toes and feel around and see if there's anything in your way. And if you don't feel anything, then go ahead and put the rest of your weight onto your toes, slowly shifting over to the outside of your foot and then the heel of your foot. And now your weight is all on that other foot. I'm going to shift my camera down at my feet now. And so now we can start to practice this if you want to actually walk forward and just do it. It's actually easier going a little bit faster, to be honest with you. It takes a little bit more effort to go slower, but I'll just go nice and slow and you can go whatever pace you want to. So you're just going to do the same thing, looking forward with owl eyes. So you're looking nice and steady and straight. And then you're just going to feel with your foot first, your toes, the outside of your foot, and then your heel, and then shift your weight. Toes, outside of your heel, shift your weight, and then continue on that way. And now what I want you to do is practice. Now go back and try just walking that little path you just walked the normal way you would walk, heel, ball, toe. So just walk heel, ball, toe, and just see the difference, how that feels. You can go back and forth a couple times. Just noticing how heel, ball, toe feels. And then now let's go back and forth a couple times, feeling fox walking. So again, looking up straight ahead of you, and you can go at whatever rhythm's comfortable for you. All right, nice work, everybody. So the reason I decided to do this was because I was on the boardwalk this morning, going for my run, and decided to walk a little bit on the boardwalk to look for birds. And I noticed just how heavy my feet were. As I even just walking, I could hear my feet on the boardwalk. I could feel the vibration of my own feet on the boardwalk. And so I started to fox walk because I wanted to get closer to the birds and not startle them quite so much. And I actually got so close to one of the marsh wrens, or no, it was a swamp sparrow, that it actually startled me. It was blending in so well with the mud on the ground that it just jumped up and kind of flew right by me. And so it's also another way, fox walking is a wonderful practice to help you get closer to the natural world because it slows you down as well. It's like a slowing of our internal system. And so if you want to, you can do the next portion of the practice standing or sitting, whichever one you want to. I'm going to start standing myself, and then we'll move. You can move into sitting, whatever feels comfortable for you. But I'm enjoying standing at the moment, so I'm going to stand. So let's get back into owl eyes. And some of you may have heard the term forest bathing. I've actually never officially been trained or know specifically what it is, but it just sounds like just sounds like something that sounds just lovely to be bathed by the forest, right? So let's practice a little bit of, or receive some of the essence of the world around us, the natural world, just receiving that today. So get back into owl eyes. If you're standing, you can just let your knees soften just a little bit, allowing your shoulders to kind of roll back and be soft. And now take notice of your breath. Is it deep and full? Is it shallow? It's often easier to get into a nice rhythm with your breath when you're in owl eyes. Being in an expanded vision, it tells our nervous system that everything is okay, because usually when there's danger, we want to focus. And so our nervous system gets a bit more tense. And so our heart rate increases and our breath increases. And so when you go into owl eyes, everything starts to just calm down a little bit. So let yourself go into owl eyes, let your eyes get soft. And just allow the world, even your inside world, if you're sitting inside today, allow the world to bathe you right now. Just receiving whatever it is that is offered to you in this moment. It might be a sight, it might be sounds, it might be a feeling. Just let yourself receive. And we'll stay like this for just a few moments. So the beautiful thing about this receptive practice, this idea of bathing in the forest, is that it really can be done anywhere. You can be in the city and do this. You can be inside your home and do this, because we always have the air around us. And if you think about it, the air has been around this world, I don't even know how many times. And so maybe you don't have the most idyllic forest surrounding you in the moment, but in a sense you can touch that because you're touching the air, and at some point that air has touched the beautiful redwoods or the lion in Africa or the boreal forest, whatever it is, maybe a little chickadee somewhere. And so you can always be a part of the natural world no matter where you are. So just allow ourselves just to soak this in a bit more. And just notice if you're drawn to a sound or something to look at in this moment, and see if you can take it all in, expand what you're experiencing right now. So maybe your attention is drawn to something that you're seeing, and see if you can also expand the sounds that surround that sight. And if you want to, you're welcome to engage the practice of fox walking right now. You can just walk around your deck or wherever you're standing and still be in that receptive mode of receiving whatever's around you. But this time being conscious of your feet and feeling what is on the earth below you, noticing your connection with the earth below you as you move. And you can move nice and slow. You don't have to go very far. You can even do little circles if you want to. And you can just stay standing still as well, just really being in touch with your feet as you're receiving. All the while, as you're moving or you're standing still, just remembering your own heartbeat and your own rhythm, that wild part of yourself that is tapped in and connected to the rhythm of the world. Remembering that you are a part of the natural order of things. Allow yourself to relax in the naturalness of who you are, in connection with the world around you. Sometimes it's hard to sit still and just be with the simpleness of life. And sometimes that's because emotions arise, and that's okay if they do. Just allow them to be. Good work, everybody, today. So take the next few moments to offer your appreciation to whatever it is you connected with, even the parts of yourself that you connected with today. A little TLC to your own heart and body. All right. Well, for those who would like to stay and chat, you can join us now. And if you need to go, that's totally fine too. And yeah, thanks for turning your monitors back on. It's always nice to see your faces. Anyone have anything we'll start with this morning, from this practice this morning. Anyone have anything they want to share from your practice today? Anything that came up for you, anything you noticed with the fox walking, with standing still, with just letting yourself bathe? Yeah, Anne, go for it.
I found when we were practicing after the fox walk, I tried to do a couple tree poses.
Oh, cool.
And I found, even though I'm out in the yard on lumpy ground, I was able to hold the pose steadier because I had come in contact with, normally you're in a yoga studio on a flat ground and, you're tipping in, but because I had come to my feet, come to feel my feet, and it was softer out here in the grass. And so it was just fun. And now I realized, I watch also these women, sometimes you watch on TV, it's like, what, walking funny, but I'm thinking I looked like that with that feet kind of, and I thought, it's a soft walk. It's really a soft walk.
Yeah. And of course, at first, like with anything, it's going to be funky and you're going to look weird. And I think I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I taught this to the instructors at the Boulder Outdoor Survival School. This is like one of the top survival, organizations in the country. And they all looked ridiculous when they were first trying it. They looked all stiff and rigid and they were like really serious. And so it's when you finally get a little bit more comfortable with it and then you let yourself soften and be playful like a child, that's when it sort of really just does come naturally. But you just have to go through that funky, awkward stage, when you're first learning it, for sure. But
and that's, I remember my parents used to try to get us to do the Indian walk when we were hiking. And I think my mom used to do it just to get us to be quiet in the woods and to slow down.
Wow. That's cool. Where did they learn that?
I don't know. Books.
Yeah. Huh.
Just being and learning things, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, I always love finding that out, where people pick up these practices and whatnot. And again, like I said, it's so natural, it's so human, like all of us as children. I mean, does everyone remember like tiptoeing? And like, did anyone teach you to tiptoe? Like, you just did it. You just start doing it, Yeah. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Good morning, all. Oh my goodness, Kristi, what you said about the air, I started getting teary-eyed. That was just the most beautiful, because I've heard of forest bathing and we did like an intro thing to it on one of the Audubon walks, but this was just that was so perfect. I just loved how you worded that. And that was just the most beautiful thing. So thank you. And yay, fox walking. That was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I was in physical therapy my whole childhood. And it was always because I have cerebral palsy. And so it was always about how to walk heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. It's like in my brain, because like, and my mom would get after me and like walk it the right way. So this was fun to play with something that like was the wrong way for me growing up, right, to walk. So that was a blast. Thank you. Awesome. That was really neat.
That's great. Yeah, and the more people, like the more and more people, there's some people who really get into it, and then you can get into running this way, and they call it coyote running. It's just sort of a different name for it. But I tried that for a long time until I got into a car accident, and I had to it kind of messed up my knee for a little while, so I had to go back to just like the regular because it was actually not as good for me. But I learned to run like that. And I remember I started practicing a martial art with a friend who was a teacher. And he was just like, how did you pick up on, like, he's like, most people don't get the walk right away. And I was like, I don't know, I didn't think about it. But because I had been running like toe, ball, heel for so long, I think I just naturally walk the way that they do in this martial art practice. And so, yeah, it's neat to know that there's lots of traditions around the world who use that, especially like martial arts and different native cultures over time. And then us as just, natural humans, we do that. So yeah, it's really, it is, and you have to go slower. That's the thing, especially when you're running. If you do the coyote running, like it's a shorter gait. And so it feels more awkward in the beginning. It really takes some time to build up to that and to practice that. But it's interesting if you're a runner, just sort of play with that a little bit. And it is a different muscles that you're using, so you will be sore, when you first try to do that. But yeah, it's just like you said, it's fun to play with. Both of you brought up that word, just fun. It's kind of fun to play with. So nice work. Yeah, go for it, Linda. Oops, you're muted. There you go.
There, I did it without screwing it up. I loved this morning. This was wonderful. And I've just had a wonderful morning out here. And I loved what you were talking about, the forest bathing and the air, having been around the world, and some of the air that's touching us is such a wonderful concept. And then to kind of send some message of love and acceptance or whatever on the air that, as it comes by me and touches me, and I breathe it in and out with the trees. I mean, it was just like, wow, this is really cool. So I love that. And I've done some forest bathing, and I have a friend who's certified, and so she does regular forest bathing here, and it's really a wonderful thing. But a lot of what you do is very similar, but they give prompts. They call them prompts or invitations,
Okay.
and they utilize all 5 senses. So it's just like it shifts your whole way of being in nature, really. At first it feels kind of weird, but then you start to really get into it, and it's just, you can just kind of feel your whole perspective on things, your mind just shift into this wonderful place. And I could feel myself starting to do that this morning too. So it was really great. And I have to share with you, there's lots of birds here today, which is really wonderful. And I had a mama white-tailed deer walk in here with a little baby fawn in the middle. I wish I could have just kind of put it on so you all could see, but I was afraid I'd scare them off and everything. So, but anyway, so they were over here, I could hear the little baby deer and then some little low tones from the mother, and she was keeping a real close eye on the baby. So I think it was really young. But anyway, it was just a wonderful morning. Thank you so much. I love the fox walking too. It felt really good to fox walk. And then, it kind of got you into the owl eyes. For me, got me into the owl eyes even more. So I'm going to really be practicing that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful if you can, and Claudia, I'll call on you in just a second. It's the more you can do it barefoot, I think the better. It just like what Anne was saying, it really gets your feet like in contact with the earth, which is good for us for many reasons. But there's just something magic about having our sort of naked feet on the earth. And of course you can do it with shoes on, but if you're able to do it with bare feet, that's really a wonderful thing. Yeah. Thanks, Linda, for all that.
You bet.
Yeah, go for it, Claudia.
Hey, I also love the fox walking. I feel like you talked about balance, and I think that's something that I can use to help my balance. And the air thing too. My battery's getting really low, so if I cut off, it's not that I don't like you, it's just the computer. But I went to a forest bathing session one time and up at Red Butte Garden in Salt Lake. And I went and I was a little bit thinking, ooh, how weird is this going to be, but it was just so natural and sweet. And it was just such a wonderful experience. And every time I go back to that same area, I want to go back and do it again, because the certified teacher still does it sometimes. But anyway, every time I go back to that area, it's just like my whole body relaxes. It just, because of that experience. And, I walk on those paths, and anyway, it's wonderful. It's a neat experience.
It's like there's a body memory, like a physical memory of that being there. Yes. It's interesting because, and I just for like a disclaimer here, I'm certainly not calling this forest bathing. I don't really know what it is. When I was out there this morning and I was fox walking on the boardwalk, I really felt I started to slow down a lot, and I could just sense so much around me, and I felt like I was being bathed by the natural world. And I was like, oh yeah, there's this forest bathing thing, and I think I'll bring that to the ladies today. So whatever, so I'm not trying to say this is forest bathing, but that word, just like being bathed by the forest, just kind of came to me this morning. So, and I know it's like you said, Linda, I think it's similar in some ways to what we do here, but probably I think they're a bit more structured. They have like the prompts, like you're saying, and there's sort of an approach to it that they teach. So I'd love to try it someday. Someday I'd love to go with someone who knows what they're doing. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Yeah, Joy.
Yeah, I agree with everybody else. That was so much fun this morning. I really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. My feet after the fox walking just felt so alive, and I could really feel everything on the bottom of my feet. It was, you know, very good experience for that. And the air, yes, I agree with just about what everybody else was saying. It was a wonderful morning. Thank you so much, Kristi. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing because when we walk just heel ball toe, I think because it's so natural, I think it is a little less conscious, right? When you don't have to be quite so conscious of what you're stepping on, you just do it, right? It's just sort of like the modern experience. We just do it. We just move through life. But when you're actually going toe, side of the foot to the heel, you have to go slower, and you're like there's intention with it. There's intention to feel the ground, to notice what you're stepping on. And so I think anytime we bring intention to what we're doing, whether it's how we look, smell, taste, whatever, if you've ever done that, there's like a yoga practice or a meditation practice where you eat, like you take like 10 minutes to take a bite or something like that, and could you imagine like just bringing so much attention to just taking that one bite? And yeah, it can be a really powerful experience in that way. Thank you, Joy. Thanks for saying that. Anybody else? Well, thanks everyone for coming, and thanks Farah for what you shared. I really appreciate that, and nice to see you. And yeah, so we'll see everybody next week. And I just want to say, like, this is just one of the exercises and practices that we do in the master's course. And so I know some of you keep talking about like wanting to learn more and wanting to go deeper. And so there is a way to do that. If you're interested, just go to my website, you can check it out. And of course, like, this is always going to be here for us and for everybody. And hi, Farah. But I just wanted to say that because I think that some of you would just, I think you'd be like pretty stoked about it. So, because this is just like one of those little pieces that we do. But anyway, I love this as well for myself today. It's always fun for me to sort of think about what I'm going to do with you all each week and really just receive from nature what it is. I just put that intention out in that question. It's like, all right, what am I going to do today? And often the right answer comes, so I'm grateful for the natural world sharing her gifts with us today. And thanks everybody. It was so good to see all your faces and hear your stories.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you, Kristi. You're awesome.
Thanks, Kristi.
I second that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye,
everybody.
Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Hey, Kristi.
Yes.
Yeah, it's me.
Hi.
I just wanted, good to see you. Did Stefan send you the name of the person in France?
Yes, and it's so funny because it just so happens that, let me stop the recording actually. It just